Hi everyone, welcome back to another edition of Tuesdays with Paulie. We're approaching the end of the month here, 4th of July is coming. And so for our last episode this month, we are going to do another sort of rip from the headlines episode. So we are going to talk about underground oil tanks. I have worked with a few buyers lately where we have run into a situation where the house that my buyer loved had an underground oil tank. So what exactly does that mean? So if you've ever had a heating system that used oil, most likely you've had one of those big 200 or 250 gallon drums in your basement. When you order the oil, they come, they deliver it. There's a little access pipe through the side of your house. They deliver the oil and drop it in, connected to your furnace. That's how you get your heat. A long time ago, they were actually, because people were worried A, about space, B, about the ugliness of having a big oil tank in the basement, they were actually installing those oil tanks underground in the yard. Same type of thing. There would actually be two pipes in this situation, a fill pipe and a vent pipe. But it seemed like a great idea. Okay, they're out of the way, they're in the ground. But the problem is much like we talked about with septic systems last week, the underground oil tanks started to crack and they were leaking. Now, bad enough when your septic tank leaks a little bit. It smells, it's gross, it's a little bit disgusting. But when your oil tank leaks, now you have an environmental issue. The EPA can actually get involved with these things. And if your oil tank is cracked and is leaking and it contaminates the ground, you actually have to not only remove the oil tank, but you have to test your soil in different areas around the ground to make sure that you remove any contaminated area and treat that. So testing alone for the contamination can be $250 to $500, and that's for each spot of your yard. So if there's a concern that there are several different areas of your yard that are contaminated, each time they test and pick up the soil, you're looking at $250 to $500. So you could be talking about thousands of dollars just to figure out if your yard is contaminated. And then to remove the oil tank, to deal with and abate the contamination can really become a nightmare. So if you like a house and you're wondering if there's an oil tank underground, the first thing to do is to call the fire department. If there has been an oil tank that was safely removed and all the paperwork was properly filed, the local fire department will actually have that on file and they will be able to provide that paperwork and documentation to you. Your lender will most likely require it, and so that's a great first place to start. Again, a total giveaway is if you see two pipes coming out of the ground, oftentimes close to the home, but you'll see it near the deck, you'll see it maybe to the side of the driveway, or sometimes in the backyard. That's your first giveaway that at some point there either is or was an underground oil tank there. Better to make sure ahead of time because you don't want to be the one stuck with the problems, because once you buy the house, if there's a contamination issue, you now have to deal with it. So that's it for this week. Again, any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly. Please remember to like that video on the bottom of your screen. We will see you next week for our live market report. Have a great night, everyone.